Hey all, Tony Bing here, hello and welcome back to another in-depth review for Marvel Strike Force. Now, today we have a 2.0 review, so that means we're looking at a character that's had quite a large change or a large update to how they actually play, so it warrants doing another video for them. So the character in question is Ronan. We've seen a lot of changes in his kit, and I will say that he's much better than he was previously. Previously, he was the butt of many jokes in the game and he just wasn't worth using at all, but the Kree are really pretty fantastic now. Now, in this video anyway, to let you know if Ronan specifically is worth investing in, we've got different sections. We have the general overview, we've got the stats, we'll check out his abilities, we'll look at his synergies, and then finally we'll see where he places in the new updated tier list as well. But we'll start off here with the general overview. Ronan then is a controller class, and previously in his kit he did have an element of control, but due to his slow speed he really wasn't that effective at all. But they've upped the control on him, they've actually upped the speed on him as well, so those two aspects together work out really nice. Now if we look at his tags anyway, it's Villain, Cosmic, Mystic, Controller and Kree. Kree's the very important tag now because there's a ton of synergies there, and we'll look at them in more detail when we get to the abilities section. The Cosmic tag is really important as well due to synergies with Thanos, and that's something we'll talk about later on in the video as well. So that's his tags. In regards to unlocking him, he can be a bit of a slow burn because he's only available at the moment via Raid Orbs and Premium Orbs. So one of them's locked behind RNG, that's the Premium Orbs of course, and the Raid Orbs to an extent are behind RNG as well because you need to wait for them to come up in the store. So if you're going to farm them, just be prepared for it taking a fair bit of time to get them ranked up. But that's the general overview, so let's now have a look at his stats. We start off here then with the offensive stats. Now there's been no change to his damage at all, that's still sitting up at a B, which is really nice. His speed has seen a jump from 65, which was an F rating, up to 90, which is an E rating, which is still on the slower side. However, through his kit he can actually gain speed bar for himself and allies, and that's something we'll talk about a lot more later on in the video. His focus is up at an A, so that's great. Being a controller, he has cleanse in his kit and he has various debuffs, so the focus helps those actually apply. Finally, from an offensive perspective, you have the fact that he can offer a 20% damage buff for Kree minions, so if you team him up with the likes of Cyborg or Reaper, he can actually do an insane amount of damage there. So offensive wise, from a stat perspective, he's looking really nice now. But next up anyway, let's have a look at his defensive stats. Defensive stats wise then, he's always really done pretty decent, but he's still seen a buff to his health and armour as well. Now the health was previously up at an A rating, so that remains an A rating, so it's nice to have a controller who can sometimes be focused on a burn down and raids, have a nice high health pool to keep them up. His armour is up at a C now, I believe that was previously a D, so it's slightly moved up there. His resistance is an A, so it can be incredibly hard to apply debuffs to him, and again that's really nice for a controller class because it means if he's not locked down you can fire off your own debuffs at the most opportune moment. Other areas of his kit that can help out from a defensive perspective are the fact that he can gain health when he actually gains energy, so that really helps him out there. And then he actually has additional resistance for himself and his Kree minions as well, making it harder to lock them down. So all in, from an offensive and defensive perspective in regards to stats, he's doing really nice now. The next section anyway will now be the abilities. First ability we look at here is a passive, and this has seen a huge upgrade. It's called Accuser, so with this, whenever this character or Kree ally gains energy, and that should be often with a Kree team, they change speed bar by 20% and are healed for 4,200 health plus 15% of Ronan's max health. That means you will heal for around about 18,000 when he's at 7 star, which is pretty amazing. It also says that this effect may be triggered by another passive. I presume that might mean potentially the likes of Star-Lord's passive where he hands out energy. It's really not clear. Also with this you gain 30% resistance, so that bumps his resistance even higher, making it hard to lock him down, and you apply 30% resistance to Kree allies, and that really helps out the Kree Royal Guard because his resistance is on the lower side. You'll also apply 20% max health and 20% damage to non-summoned Kree minion allies, so the passive is absolutely amazing. It's really all about running it in a full Kree team though. If you were running him on his own, you wouldn't make the most of it, so if you're going for a full Kree team, I would say max this out. If you're just using them papered in with 1 or 2 Kree characters, then I would probably just keep this at level 4, because all you're losing is a slight amount of the flat health gain and the 15% resistance, and Ronan doesn't really need that resistance in the first place. So level 4 if he's running with a smaller team, level 5 if you're running a full Kree team. Next ability we have here is a basic. Again, we've seen a nice upgrade here. This is called Hammer Smash. With this, when it's maxed out at level 7, you clear 2 positive effects from the primary target. You attack the primary target for 180% damage with 25% piercing, and you'll notice the way this is worded is that you actually clear the positive effects first and then you attack them. So that's exceptionally important, because it means if a character has defense up, for example, you'll clear that and then you'll hit them and then you'll do piercing damage. So it's really nice, and I hope to see more skills get this treatment. Also with this basic here, the attack is unavoidable, so that means if you use it on the likes of, say, Nebula for example, she could have evade and speed up. So if you used this, you would actually hit her, you would strip the evade and speed up, and then you would do the additional damage portion as well. So really nice basic here, one of my favourite basics in the game, I would say, potentially now. In regards to how high you want to take it, I would say take this up to level 6, because it's at that point that the chance to clear positive effects goes up to 100%. It's only 50% at level 5, so take this up to level 6. Wouldn't really bother going with level 7, because the only difference is a little bit more damage, and Ronan isn't there to put out damage anyway. The next ability we have here is the special. This is called Judgment. It takes 5 turns to charge and comes fully charged. Now with this, maxed out at level 7, you summon 2 Kree allies at 340% normal damage and 100% of normal health, and you clear 2 negative effects from all allies. The possible summons are Kree Reaper and Kree Noble. Now this actual ability, I find I actually use it more for the cleanse, because being able to cleanse 2 debuffs from all allies is exceptionally strong, and because Ronan is a little bit slower, it means a lot of characters might start off. So you could have the Brotherhood adding their blind, you could have the likes of Spider-Man adding defense down, and then Ronan will go after them and he can actually cleanse all that. So I would say when you're using this, use it specifically for the cleanse portion. So if needs be, if you need to hold on to it, I would actually do that and just use the basic instead at the start of turn, and use this when you need to get rid of all your debuffs. I'll also mention one thing though, and this is a bit of a synergy. If you're running with Minerva, the summons can get defeated very easily, but that will actually charge up Minerva's speed bar, so just bear that in mind. If you need to get her potentially getting her next turn fairly quickly, you can call in the summons, get them nuked, and that will charge her up. Now in regards to how high you want to take it, the difference between level 6 and level 7 is that you summon 1 to 2 Kree allies rather than summoning 2, and because the summon portion of it for me isn't the most important part, I would just keep this at level 6. For the ultimate, we have a skill here that's seen a really big upgrade. You can no longer use it on the first turn, but I would say the trade-off is most definitely worth it. So it's called Universal Weapon. It takes in total 6 turns to charge, and now you have to wait to turn 2 to use it. With this, you attack all enemies for 290% damage, which can be a decent amount of his damage stat, and you also apply ability block to the primary target for 2 turns, and you apply ability block to 2 additional enemies as well. So it's incredibly useful when you're going up against the likes of Luke Cage. It means you can lock him down and stop him from putting the taunt on himself and getting all that regen as well, which can really make him a pain to handle. Now in regards to how high you want to take this one, I would take it up to level 6. The difference between 6 and 7 is 60% damage, but there's no change to the ability block portion, whereas the difference from level 5 to 6 is that the primary ability block only lasts for 1 turn. So it's worth using your purple materials to get up to level 6 to get the 2 turns of ability block that can really lock down characters. So really nice upgrade here, and overall I'm really happy with how these abilities have turned out. Now with all them covered, let's have a look at the synergies. So Ronan then now actually works with a ton of heroes. Now the most obvious choice of course would be the Kree minions, but what I'll do is I'll break it down specific minions that I really like and the synergies between them. So you have the Kree Noble first. Now if you place her next to Ronan, on her special she gets a guaranteed assist, so when she casts that, Ronan will use his basic and he still retains the double cleanse portion of it. So it means whenever she casts that, you're cleansing up to 2 positive effects on a character, so that can be really nice. You have the Kree Oracle. If you pair the Kree Oracle up with Ronan, you're essentially getting double healing whenever you gain energy, which can be huge. We have the combination of Thanos and Kree Royal Guard. What happens with this is Thanos can go next to the Kree Royal Guard. He can give him a continual stream of energy, especially in raids, and whenever he gains that energy due to Ronan being in the team, it will actually heal the Kree Royal Guard as well, so that can be an amazing combination. Next up we have Minerva. We've already touched on the fact that when the summons go down for Ronan, then it actually charges up her speed bar. Star-Lord can give energy to Ronan and other Kree allies. It works really nice. Captain Marvel could be really tanky with him because she has a self-heal on every turn anyway, but if you add in additional energy going to her and that energy healing her and filling her speed bar, then that could be absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to try that out. And then finally you have Scarlet Witch, who could actually work pretty nice as well with him. You have him casting his 2 turns of ability block on one target and then 2 ability block on other targets, and then if you follow up with Scarlet and actually extend that, that's really going to lock down a good portion of the enemy team. So that's all the characters you can work well with. So let's now have a look at the characters you want to avoid. When we look at characters you want to avoid here, we've actually got quite a few for various different reasons. Now, the first one is Punisher. To make the most of Ronan, you have to run him with a full villain team, and we know that Punisher can absolutely chew through villains. You then have Deadpool. Now, with Deadpool's special, when he actually changes to other characters, if the character's a minion, he applies an additional bleed to them. You also have the fact that Deadpool will be able to shake off the ability block that's potentially applied to him via Ronan and get some health back. Next up we have characters that have cleanse as part of their kit, so that would include Black Widow. She cleanses Avenger characters specifically. You then get Jessica Jones, Groot and also Ronan, who have the team wide cleanse. Thanos could give you some trouble because if you call in your summons, Thanos will wipe them out, or one of the enemy team will wipe them out fairly quickly, and that will give energy to other cosmic characters or Thanos himself. You then have characters that can, to an extent, nullify Ronan's passive, and that's specifically the heal portion of it. So that's characters that have heal block that works over an area. That would include the likes of Venom and Mordo. Finishing off the list, we have Spider-Man here. Now, the reason we have Spider-Man, and he actually doubles up with Black Widow and Mordo as well, is these 3 are characters that have stun as part of their kit. Now, if Ronan's actually stunned, what will happen is his passive needs him to be active in the game for it to actually kick in if another character gets energy, or if another Kree character gets energy, and heal them up. So that's a good way, if you're going up against a full Kree team, try and lock down Ronan with a stun, and that will really pull down the speed bar and also the health gain there. But that's all the characters that you want to avoid, so let's now check out the tier list. So with the tier list here, I've actually made a large change to it since the last in-depth review. We've expanded in some of the sections a little bit so it's less crowded, and also there's been a fair bit of moving characters around. Now, I did do a video on this. Since the video, I've made some very small changes as well, because I'm never really 100% happy with a tier list, and I would say more work's never done. But I'll just mention quickly before we go into Ronan's rating. Carnage have moved down from mid-Omega to low-Omega, but he would move up one spot if you pair him up with characters that have a lot of debuffs. If he doesn't have any debuffs going, it can slow him down a little bit. And Star-Lord has moved to high alpha on his own, however through synergies with the Guardians specifically, he would move up to mid-Omega. Now, to move on to the character you all want to hear about, Ronan, I'll quickly cover his pros and cons before we do actually play some, and I'll mention already that he's like a lot of similar releases in that he greatly benefits through synergies with other characters, so that'll pull him up a fair bit. Now, if we quickly look at his pros first, you've got the amazing synergies with the Kree team due to that passive with the speed bar and the health that's gained whenever they gain energy. You've got the really nice ultimate with the ability block affecting multiple characters in 2 turns on the primary character. You have that team-wide cleanse that you can use as well, and that actually applies to all characters. It doesn't have to be Kree. You've got his very decent stats. His speed aside, most of them are A or B, and then there's lots of different team synergies that can be quite fun you can run them with. Yes, you do have to drop in some Kree, but if you put in other characters that can generate energy, you can get some really nice combos there. Now, in regards to his cons, there's not a great deal here. You've got the fact that he is really relying on gaining energy for speed, because again, his speed is down at 90, which is a way down an E rating, so if you don't drop him in a team with characters that are generating energy that potentially goes to him, then he's still got that problem that he is really slow, as much as his skills are much nicer now. And then finally you've got the fact that there's quite a few different ways you can counter him, specifically the stun, where you can actually stop his passive from being active, although on the plus side, because his resistance is so high, it will be relatively hard to actually stun him there. But that's the pros and cons. Now if I was to place him on his own, so you're really taking the passive out of the equation, and that does offer a huge amount. I would say that he would place as a high level 3 character. Previously I believe he was a high level 1 character, so he's jumped up a fair bit there. Now through synergies with specifically creating characters that can generate energy, and I would say Thanos is an absolutely incredible character. With him you can just have so much fun painting him up with Thanos, but through synergies such as that, I would say that he would move up 3 slots to a high alpha character there. So what I'll be doing next in the next few days is I'll be having a look at Minerva, and I'll get that in-depth review for her out, because I do know she's been out for a few days, but these reviews take about 4 or 5 hours, and sometimes it's quite hard to start one knowing it takes as long as this, but I'll try and get that done as soon as possible. In regards to this review, I hope it's been helpful as always. Let me know in the comments below how you're finding Ronan, if you're actually playing him and leveling up at the moment, and as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.